Welcome, C3 family. Thanks for tuning in. We're super excited to bring you our very first podcast episode. These episodes will be available soon on Apple and other podcast platforms. So this evening, I have down below me the man on the charts, Al. And then to my right, I have the man off the charts, Chris. And we're going to be going over some really valuable content. So make sure you stick around all the way through. On the charts, we're going to be going over a Death Diamond follow-up on the Bitcoin day chart. We're also going to be going over some of these alts that have been pumping, as well as going over the dollar chart. And we have some great news off the chain with Chris about Cardano, as well as I'll be wrapping up with some great DeFi liquidity information, as well as Bitcoin expirations and open interest charts. So as always, remember, smash the like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and comment down below if you guys want to request any topics. We're very open. We want to provide content for you. This is to help you guys and to educate you, as well as keep us involved in the community that we love so much. So with that being said, I want to throw it over to Al and have him jump into the charts.
Good C3 fam, appreciate the love. Let's play crypto. Here we have some fun charts to look at, and I wanted to go ahead and check out the total market cap. And so we have the total market cap we've brought up a few times. It's starting to look a little bit peaked out, so we might have a little bit of a cool off period. But when you come around and bring out our fun indicators, it's looking like that cool off period's not going to be for the next few days. So if you're a day trader, this may be a fun week to be trading upwards. And also when we compare the crypto market cap to the Bitcoin dominance, we can see they normally correlate in an inverse manner. So over here, you can see on our RSI, the market cap is overflowing at about 95+%, and Bitcoin dominance is pretty low at about 2% on the RSI. So I would anticipate this drop to go on a little bit longer, but not too much longer. That being said, this is kind of what I've been projecting for a possible recovery on Bitcoin. And I'm looking at what happened at about May 10th, May 11th, and pretty much the inverse to the drop I would imagine we would need to do for the recovery, and that would satisfy a traditional cup and handle. So think something along those lines, a nice uprising on a recovery sometime around next week would be the upside. I would imagine that the rest of this week for Bitcoin specifically may not be great, but the end of the week and definitely next week, I think, is looking more promising. So that's kind of what Bitcoin's looking like. The good news is it's starting to turn around. It's starting to look more promising. And the interesting news that we have today is it looks like the dollar is testing its channel that it's been in for a few months. So we've been hanging out in this channel since about March of this year, and we're testing it at the top. And unfortunately, I'm not that confident that we're going to break through. So I imagine more of a rejection and bringing us back down. And that is always good for the investments and asset class, because when the dollar goes down, something's got to go up. So that's always exciting to look into.
So Al, before you move off of the dollar, we were talking earlier today about the stimulus that's coming out soon. And I think that's going to affect the chart and keep it in that channel, in that downward channel. If we keep printing money and keep giving it away, I think it's going to keep devaluing the dollar. So I like that channel. I think it will stay in it. It could possibly, maybe break out a couple percent and then fake back down to the downside or something like that.
Yeah, no, brilliant point, Jay, and it's right. I mean, when just California prints 5.2 billion for the state's bailout, I imagine there's a bunch of other states getting ready to do their own stimulus plan, and as that's happening, the feds will continue to add stimulus packages to the economy to keep it going. And so, like you pointed out, I don't think that will allow us to break out of this channel at least anytime soon. So, but for those of us that live and breathe crypto, that is great news. And speaking of breaking out of channels, I'm hoping to see us break out of this channel. So we're back to total 2, or to total market cap. My apologies. And at total market cap, we can see we've been hanging out in this channel for the last month or two, and we're getting ready to break out of it. It also is at a fib resistance level at 142 trillion. So I'd like to see us break out of this. And if we do, I mean, we could be looking at a healthy market. Oh, that's fun. At a healthy market cap upwards of 1.6 trillion overall. And I think that's what we're looking for, to see another run in alts and to see some of these other projects start thriving. So this is really exciting. This is really bullish news, in my opinion. We're seeing a lot of projects start making big moves. Go over to CoinGecko and you go to their coins discover, and you end up here and you have Qcoin shares continues to show up across the board and in top fashion. So that's been one of our favorite projects. We're going to have a tutorial going out later this week on a 3-part series on how to operate Qcoin and navigate it more efficiently, from starting an account to utilizing all of its avenues. But let's take a look at Qcoin really quick. And oh my goodness, we are up almost 100% for the week. And that is fantastic, especially in the market we've been in the last 2 months. So this is really promising to me. It's really exciting to see alts start moving like this, especially exchange related alts. So people are interested, people are getting back into it. There's probably money on the sidelines getting ready to be put in or being stored in the exchange's token. So that's why I think KCS could be thriving right now. That being said, I love the project, and if you're interested in it, I would imagine some kind of retracement bringing us back down to about the 88, and then if we're lucky, the 750 range. So if it's a project that you're a little timid getting into after a healthy 100% plus jump, it's understandable. 185% jump. So I would be looking at getting an entry at that point if I were looking to enter KCS. And another alt that I think is getting ready to take off and has had my attention, that I truly believe will be on sale within the next week or two, if not this week. But it's VeChain, and they are a Goliath of a project. We've talked about them multiple times, and they have so much stability. They already have utility, and it's a project that if you haven't looked into them, please check them out and consider adding them to your bags, because I think that we're going to have a nice little sale coming up right around here. And once the sale's over, I would imagine that VeChain will do a very similar recovery about this manner. And we will see in a matter of no time, most likely this month or the beginning of next month, a 25-cent VeChain. So I would be thinking that it's getting ready to make some really good moves. That is obviously a extremely high projection, and assuming that we would finish out. But I think there's a lot of room for it, and it's a project I know we have our eyes on and have been invested in for a while. So we love VeChain. We currently hold VeChain. That is a disclaimer, and we biasly think highly of it. But I encourage you to do your own research, and I think that you will fall in love with the project just as fast as we did. Also, that being said, my apologies for the rambling, is you can see right here we are peaked again at about the 90% in our RSI. And as you can see us being peaked, we generally have some sort of consolidation or sale after these peaks. So this is an example of that not happening. But there's more examples of us seeing some kind of sale in between these peaks. So I would imagine at some point, some sort of 10 to 30% off of the pricing today. And I think that we're looking at prices around the 7 cent, around 8 cent price. So anyways, if you're looking into VeChain and you're interested in that project, I would be keeping an eye on getting an entry around that point, because I feel like that would be a really safe entry after a healthy consolidation on a very stable project. Obviously not financial advice. This is actually personally what I'm looking to do and what I intend on doing. So just wanted to share that with you guys, because as I've said consistently, this is a project we love and believe in. And I think that right now that's all I got for you guys in the charts. I had a lot of fun. I'm excited to throw it on. Why don't you take it over, Sifu? Get us off the charts, my man.
All right, thank you, Alex. Let's do that. Hello, my C3 fam. Let's all just take a step off the charts here for a second, and we're gonna start off with what Alex was saying earlier. Actually, both my colleagues, Jake and Alex, with the dollar and everything, the whole fiat currency going down, and we do have another stimulus package about to release here. So as we know, if we look back to 2018, you can look into the charting there, and you'll see that the moment, actually, excuse me, when we look back when the first stimulus pack was released in 2020, there was serious effects to the market that pumped after that. So we're actually thinking that history is going to have a rhyme and repeat itself. But my point being is that we're actually seeing a lot of institutional adoption coming our way. If you haven't known already, all the big boys in the institution are very bullish on cryptocurrency, whether they're just optimistic on it in general. But what I think is that they are, like anyone, they are big economists, and they are watching the way things are going via these stimulus packages. Like my colleague said earlier, lots of money is being printed. And so with that, they are going to make sure that they're not going to be on the losing end of things. So here we have it. They are very, very bullish on cryptocurrency. We're probably going to see it more and more in the coming months, but transitioning through banking institutions that are going to basically allow cryptocurrency avenues, or more so, they're just going to allow their clients to have crypto assets managed through them. So like I said earlier, they're not going to be on the losing end of actually what's going on here.
Hey, Chris, what
Yeah.
screen do you have pulled up right now?
It's just my NFT, or not the NFT, the Akami screen. I don't really have much
Okay.
go. Yeah.
Okay, I was making sure you didn't have a chart you were trying to go over.
No, I actually I'm just gonna deliver on this one. I'm gonna transition into what this screen's all about. But so yeah, so in any case, back to that on the institutional adoption. These are just all indicators of the market about to pump or not. In any case, the adoption is coming. So sure enough, we have ATMs popping up all over the country that are going to have Bitcoin transactions taking place. And I say that's another indicator that these bankers are just setting right up for this, being that they are carefully watching the dollar as it possibly goes down and down. So they're gonna need backing, and they're gonna use all their big money to try to get steps ahead to all the crypto veterans that have been in the game at this point. But in any case, moving on to some other cool things, Cardano has just been added to Grayscale's number 3 in their portfolio. So that's huge. That's very huge, especially for all you ADA believers that have been in for a long time. But Grayscale is huge. You know, they are the largest institution right now that are managing, you know, clientele assets. You know, basically, if you don't want to have assets managed yourself, you go through them. In any case, their two big dogs are Ethereum and Bitcoin. So, oh, sorry about that. In any case, that's huge for ADA to be added to number 3 on that list. Now, granted, it's only 4% of their portfolio. However, Bitcoin and Ethereum take up almost all of it, 3/4 of the portfolio. So that's actually huge. So it's still not standing up to Bitcoin and Ethereum as far as what they hold. However, it's that number 3 is towering over the rest of the assets that they do hold. So that's just another huge buy from another big buyer. That's a direct indicator of just more institutions that are diving deeper and deeper into the cryptocurrency game. We already have El Salvador basically running through with Bitcoin as a legal tender. Paraguay actually has just introduced legislation to basically do the same thing. It's no coincidence that we're going to see a follow-up on this here, how once again leading back into the very fact that right now USA has 16,000 more ATM machines than anyone else with that's going to allow the Bitcoin transactions. So crypto is huge outside the US, but obviously out here they want people to be adopting into it as well. You know, we have Elon Musk using Warren Buffett to put more tweets up, you know, to try to pump the market. I really wouldn't pay attention to that stuff. But Warren Buffett himself does have a $500 million investment through his Berkshire Hathaway company. They're creating their own digital wallet. I mean, that should be enough alone right there for someone like that to have that sort of investment. The more you search around, we're starting to see a lot more big players that are actually holding cryptocurrency bags than we ever thought before, from not only bankers all the way up through politicians and stuff. They're leaking it out. It's very easy news to come across. And I'd say these are all not really indications of anything to worry about as far as banking coming in. I'd say they're indications until the technical analysis that my colleagues are laying out with what they see coming in the market. I think these big guys see that coming too. And also this screen, let's talk about this here for a second. So NFTs, basically this has to do with NFTs. That's kind of what Ecomi is really platforming through. This is pretty cool. Anybody who's ever been into certain mobile gaming platforming, Pokemon Go, we have another Witcher game where you're going to be able to basically, instead of track Pokemon, you track monsters and hunt them. So I'd say this is their version of that. They're taking a collectible that almost acts as an NFT through the Vive platform, which I think is a really cool platform. I have a collectible on there. I'm looking to keep building my collection and maybe showcase it. However, you have a Ghostbuster trap here. You lay it out, you catch ghosts, and I'm really not too sure what entails after that, but either way, it's making your collectible just that much more one step closer to being an actual usable item that just plays into the whole aspect of, you know, you having that collectible and it maybe having a rare value to it. But so yeah, I'd say anybody into that, look out for these. All NFTs are kind of big. They're very huge, actually. They're transforming the entire, I would say, just whole art world. And art world, I meaning from music, you know, to art, digital art, sound bites, um, basically cartoons. Anything can be an NFT. Ironically, you can have a cool cooking recipe to be an NFT. However, NFTs are having such a huge spike as of recently that I'd say keep your eyes out for any asset that is basically platforming through that. Economy mainly being another one. If you go into some of the most looked up trends on the internet, you're going to find SafeMoon in there. They're just another platform or asset that's coming out trying to pretty much release everything through NFTs, basically bridging into the whole video game platform. Maybe one day you'll be able to sell your Call of Duty rifle to a buddy for an actual value cryptocurrency that you can exchange on some sort of swap. Speaking of swaps, I'd say keep your eye out on Uniswap. There's a lot of things going on with swaps right now. Everything from meme coin swaps to, just actual real swaps happening. Shiba Inu just released a swap, supposedly. For any of you who are into that, I'm sure you already know. But overall news in the crypto market is that there is a lot happening. So despite any of the red that anyone has been seeing, I would say keep an optimistic mind and be ready for what's coming ahead. And having said all that, I'm going to go ahead and just pass it on over to Jake. I think he has some interesting things to branch off and give you guys some more info on.
Right on, Chris. Thank you for all that great NFT and off the chart information. I was going to go over, let me add my screen to the stream. Chris was talking about ADA, and ADA is one of those projects that has some of the most locked up liquidity in the game. So if you come over here to DeFiPulse.com, this is a website that will show you all the DeFi platforms and protocols that have locked up value or liquidity. So right now they're tracking about $57.5 billion in total locked value across the DeFi blockchain or industry, however you want to label it. So anyway, they show you right here Aave dominance is about 15.7% because it is the number one right now. So they have the most locked up value. They have about 11 billion in locked up value. They've gained about 5.4% in one day, which is pretty big. Not the most out of some of them. Synthetics, of course, is pumping up really good. But anyway, this is a great tool to use. It'll show you obviously the name, and then it'll tell you what chain they operate on. So Aave is great because it's a multi-chain platform. So, and it also shows you the categories on which these platforms or protocols, DEXs operate on as well. So if we click over to the Aave DeFi Pulse, it'll give you some really great stats. So it'll actually kind of show you a linear chart of the last 90 days, 30, or a year of how much value. So we can see a bunch of value obviously drop. This is when we saw a nice tank in Bitcoin. But then it's just been steadily growing and just holding this nice support line. So that's something you could kind of just roughly chart with your eye. But basically the key stats on Aave are pretty big. They got about 1.25 million ETH locked up, which they've just received about 6,000 ETH in the last 24 hours. And they look to have about 1% of the supply, so locked up, 1% of the Ethereum supply locked up, which is pretty cool. That's quite a bit. So they run on the multi-chain blockchain, and then down here's a bunch of information. So you can see here it talks about what is Aave. It'll basically go through a description and tell you all about it. Over here is the economic safety grade, which is actually done by this company Gauntlet, and you can go through and actually see these papers, and they kind of do risk calculations on their whole platform and protocol and how it works, and they know the ins and outs, the white paper from front to back. So they do an analysis on it to see whether it's, if it's good or if it's sustainable. So it got a 95%, which is pretty high, so that's great. And then you can also find a bunch of audits that have been done on the protocol as well by a bunch of different companies with different dates. So the most recent looks like December 3rd. So they also have a cool little section, trending and lending. This will show you some pretty cool articles on things that are going on. And then also here at the bottom, you have all historical stats. So this will just show you the day-to-day changes in their liquidity pool. So enough of the DeFi stuff. I kind of wanted to jump back into Bitcoin and just show you guys how much open interest that is, opening up across the blockchain and across all these exchanges. So right here on coinanalyze.net, you can see in the last 3 days, 5 days, we're just seeing this nice steadily increase. So we can see more money coming into the market through open interest. So that is really good. That's positive. And then if we go over to Levita's app, which we've made videos about before, you can see how much open interest by what side is open right now. So this will, on the calls is the longs and the puts is the short. So that shows you how many calls are put in by interest. And more importantly, what I wanted to show you guys was actually these expirations. So this is the Bitcoin expirations for the end of the week. And the max pain price is around 34K. So if you look over here, you can see all these longs stacked up around $45,000 range. Then you come over here and you see all these shorts stacked up around the $30,000 range. So it'll be real interesting to see where we fall. Typically, the market makers don't really let anybody win too big, but that doesn't have to be the case all the time. So something I wanted to show you guys was actually the September expirations. And this was pretty interesting when you look at how many longs you have over here at the $100,000 range. Like you have more, you have 2 billion, I believe, yeah, intrinsic value in expiration. So yeah, you have $2 billion at the 100K range. So a lot of people are fairly confident that that's going to happen. So that's something you definitely need to keep your eyes on. This is a big close right here. So this is something we'll be keeping you guys updated and be throwing out on our Instagram. If you guys don't follow us on Instagram, you should look us up, C3 Crypto. If you don't have time to watch a full video, you can get little snippets and segments on there as well. So I was wondering, hey, Al, do you have anything to add on interest or liquidity?
Don't, but unfortunately, I got stuck tangentially when CIPHER was breaking down the ADA was on balance sheets. And I was just sitting there with my mind blown thinking that we actually live in a time that we are seeing altcoins going on these publicly traded balance sheets and on these companies of this magnitude. So as I was doing that, I started thinking, and I just was looking at the three side by side between Ethereum, Bitcoin, and ADA, and it's been incredible to think about. And I wanted to compliment Chris on that as a brilliant point. But they all look like within the next 3 weeks that all three of those assets are in a manner to take off. And so I'm sorry for the tangential runoff, but I've been
you're fine.
Charting over here looking at those. And actually, if you don't mind, I got a few charts just to show real quick.
Yeah, take it away.
Right here, we can see Ethereum on the week chart is getting, I mean, the last time we were down here, it definitely took back off. So this is a good point to be before a takeoff. Bitcoin showed the exact same formation on the week chart.
Wow, it's bottomed out. Go back to that. Go back to that Bitcoin. Wow, that thing's bottomed out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Literally negative 0.87.
Wow.
Negative 0.25.
Wow.
So yeah, I imagine there's going to be a really enjoyable recovery right around the corner, and I'm so excited to be able to share this with everyone, and this is just a treat seeing these signs. Man, the last month or two was getting us sweaty hands, but now we're starting to see these symbols, and this is looking really good. But yeah, my apologies for the tangential segment, Jake.
Oh, you're fine. No worries. So I was just going to go over some more futures, and this was a chart done over on the CME group. So this is something you have access to. It's pretty limited. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into getting signed up for an account. But anyway, this chart shows us the futures, the longs and shorts put in by asset managers. So since we don't really have an advanced count that we pay for, this is just showing us every 3-month increments. But as you can see, the spread has changed quite a bit. They have moved to quite a few shorts. So they went from all these longs over here at the end of March, and they went to negative 47. They went from 10,000 to negative 40,000, and then all the shorts shot up to 42. So what we can see is a loss in interest between this time and this time as well. So this is just kind of a rough overview chart. I kind of wanted to just make this relevant to you guys, just show you what it is. So real quick before I get out of here and kind of stop rambling on, I wanted to jump into this economy chart. This is a token that we're super excited about. We've been passionate about. We've been holding this one for a while, and we're looking to possibly reaccumulate back down in this box zone. So what we can see, kind of like what Al was showing us, is the RSI is getting way bottomed out, way down here. So watching this to continue to move downward, which unfortunately looks like we're going to see a little bit more consolidation. We do see these volume candles right here looking pretty sellish. So the money flow is bottomed out. The RSI is bottoming out. So right now it's just a patient game. So you just got to wait, have your orders set in, and just dollar cost average. And that's exactly what we're doing. So that's about all I got. I want to throw it over to Al.
No,
Al,
when I
do you
see
have
those
anything
charts,
else?
yeah, when I see those charts, man, all everything's telling me when I see that and these charts in front of me is that it looks like it's about to be time to go shopping. I don't know about you boys, but I would imagine in the next week or two, it's time to go shopping if you wanted to get things on sale and get back into crypto, or if you're new to the space and you're looking at getting into crypto, this could be some of the best time to really get into crypto. Start looking at projects that you've had your eye on, and I don't know if we'll see better pricing until the next run. So
Yeah, no, I
I'm
agree.
excited.
I agree with that, Al, especially just going back into the ADA thing too, because the fact that they have the highest liquidity pool it's not a small thing. It's, that means there's more people putting into that than there are Ethereum, Bitcoin, any other
Well,
coin.
there's more
There's a
people putting in that are not selling. People are
Yeah,
locking their assets up and they're not selling. They're so confident
exactly.
in the project. They're like, cool, we don't care what it's worth. We're just going to set it here and earn back on it because we know this is a solid project. So I think that's a
Yeah.
very important fundamental that cannot be overlooked.
It can't be overstated either in that sense, simply because of my personal experience, every single ADA investor I've met is a long-term hodler. They have got in, they're hodling, they are probably staking, and that's just simply how it is. They have a strong belief in it. And as we see these things stacking up and being added to grayscale, just the simple numbers of showing that, and then look who they're competing against, and they are literally stomping the competition out. So that's, yeah, I agree. Along with great prices, take advantage. Take advantage.
Yeah, not financial advice, but that's what we're doing. So
Financial opinion, strictly.
Wow.
All right. Well, I think that should do it for our first episode on the podcast. I'm really excited. Thanks for those that are tuned into this live, and for those that are watching it secondhand.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if that's all we got, I mean, thanks everyone for tuning in, C3 fam. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, subscribe, stay tuned for our daily updates, weekly podcast, and remember, nothing but love. And as always, stay
Cool.
Calm.
collected. C3 over and out.
Peace.